Okay, let's now see how we can determine the initial forward price. So here are the formulas. There are two alternative ways of determining the price. Let me try to explain this intuitively. All right, so the timeline is like this. You have a bunch of dates, T1, T2, TS, TS plus 1, TM, and so on, where the underlying bond pays cash flow. So this is the coupon of the bond, right? What we want to do is we want to determine the initial forward price with a contract settlement date of TF. So this TF will be sometime in the future between coupon payment dates. So two alternatives. The first alternative is the following. The forward price that we set today is given by the value of the coupons that happen after the settlement date, so these coupons here from TS plus 1 until TM, discounted to date TF using forward discount factors. Okay, so for example, this coupon from here to here is discounting using the forward discount factor that I compute today, given the current term structure of interest rates, for the period between TF and TS plus 1. Likewise, this last cash flow here will be discounting using the forward discount factor between these two periods, TF and TM. Okay, so and I do that for all the cash flows that happen after the settlement date, after TF, right? So that's alternative number one. Alternative number two is the following. Instead of looking just at those cash flows, I'm going to look at all the cash flows of the bond, okay? And I compute the present value of those cash flows, and that's the bond price, right? Using the spot discount factors. Then I compute the present value of the cash flows that happen before the settlement date of the forward contract, okay? So these cash flows here. So again, using spot discount factors, I compute this present value, and let's call that I, right? Then I do the difference between the bond price and this I, okay? And I take that difference and I compound this quantity forward to the date of the forward contract, right? And this final result is again, the forward price today, right? So notice that in the second alternative, I only use spot discount factors, okay? But again, the two alternatives are equivalent. They give you exactly the same price. You just use what's more convenient, okay? And I mean, you can see that this intuitively makes sense that these two alternatives are the same, because like in the first one, we are just using these cash flows that happen here in the end. In this first alternative, we are using all the cash flows, but then we subtract the ones that are before, so we are just left with the cash flows that happen after the settlement date. The only issue is that we have this difference at time 0, and we want it at time TF, so we compound it forward to TF. So we get, again, to the same point as in alternative 1. All right? So let's see this with example 433. So we want to price the forward contract that we used in the previous examples, right? So recall that this was a forward contract with a settlement date of 6 months, and the underlying bond was a treasury bill that matured in 9 months. Okay, so the cash flow in this example is very simple because there's just one cash flow, which is face value at 0.75. So I'm going to use I think this is the second alternative, which is I am going to compute the present value of all the cash flows, which is the bond price. Then I'm going to subtract the cash flows that happen until the settlement date. In this case, there are none, so that is simply 0. Then I'm going to compound it forward to the settlement date. Okay, so the present value of the cash flow, given the interest rate that is on the market right now, is this part here. Then again, there are no cash flows until the settlement date. This is 0. Then I'm compounding this forward at the spot rate that I observe in the market, 1.4%. So the final result is the forward price that we had in the previous examples. So that's correct. Okay, and that's it. Thank you.